The moment I finally tried to speak French in France, everything I practiced disappeared. Hi, I'm Rachelle, and welcome to Rachelle mais Rachelle en français, the podcast where we talk about language, culture, and what it really means to learn with heart. Today I want to start with something that every language learner has felt before. That's the fear of speaking. You study for months, you memorize vocabulary, you think you're ready. And then the moment you open your mouth, nothing comes out. Let me tell you what happened to me. When I first traveled to France in 2023, I couldn't wait to use my French. I practiced the line in my head probably 100 times, like bonjour, je voudrais un café crème s'il vous plaît. It sounded perfect in my mind. So I walked confidently to the counter, smiled and said it out loud. The barista immediately replied, "Un fait sucre?" For a split second, everything froze. What did he say again? Sucre? Sugar? Wait. My brain went blank until I saw him pointing to the little sugar packets beside the counter. That tiny gesture saved me. I smiled and said, "Non merci," and we both laughed. It was such a small moment, but inside my heart was racing. And it made me realize no matter how much grammar we learn, nothing truly prepares us for how vulnerable speaking a new language feels. You think I'll be used to the language by now. I grew up speaking Cantonese and Hokkien at home, English and Mandarin at school, and I picked up Japanese purely for fun. Languages have always been part of my life, like different rooms in the same house. But when I started learning French, it felt like I had stepped into an entirely new house, one where I didn't even know how the lights worked. The sounds, the rhythm, even the emotions all felt delicate, elegant, but somehow intimidating. And that's when I realized learning a language isn't just about words, it's about identity. When you speak another language, you become a slightly different version of yourself, a version that's less fluent, more hesitant, and a little exposed. And that's why it's scary. Because it's not just pronunciation we're risking, it's who we are. After that trip, I kept replaying the moments in my head. I'll think, why did I freeze? Why couldn't I just speak naturally? And then one day I caught myself saying, I can't speak French properly. Yet. The one tiny word yet changed everything. It turned frustration into progress. It reminded me that I was still becoming. And every awkward conversation, every hesitation, every mistake, they weren't proof that I failed. They were proof that I was learning. I wasn't bad at French. I was just not there yet. When it comes to fear, have you noticed there are actually two voices inside you? One is the voice from your brain, and the other one is from your heart or your soul, as some people like to say. The brain's voice is logical, realistic, and based on past experience. It says, your accent is terrible, you sound silly, you're going to embarrass yourself. And it's not trying to hurt you, it's trying to protect you. But it also creates stress, comparison, and self-doubt. Then there's a heart voice, the gentle one. It says, you're brave for speaking, you're learning something new, you're doing something courageous. That's the voice that encourages you, believes in you, and reminds you that you are doing something extraordinary, something most people are too scared to even attempt. Once you start recognizing which voice is speaking, your whole mindset changes. Because when you follow your heart's voice, the one that connects you to the true self, your higher soul, and your dreams, fear begins to lose its control over you. But awareness alone isn't enough. You also need action. And for me, the turning point came when I started practicing out loud, even when no one was there. At first, it felt really awkward. I record myself speaking French, describing what I was doing or how I felt. I'll start a sentence and stop halfway and say, "Oh, that sounds bad," and restart again. It felt silly at first, talking to a camera in a language I barely spoke. But something shifted after a few weeks. Once I pressed record, I stopped thinking in English. I started thinking in French. I recently read Atomic Habits. You've probably heard of it. I actually read it in Chinese. The author explained how habits stick when you create an environment that triggers them automatically. For example, if your iPad is only used for Duolingo or note-taking, you'll never be tempted to install Netflix on it. So every time you open it, your brain knows, okay, it's time to study. So I created my own little trigger system, like my camera, my microphone, and a 15 minutes reminder on my calendar every day. When the time came, I turned on the camera and spoke French about anything. The camera doesn't judge you. You can delete the video or you keep it. What matters is you spoke. And over time, I got comfortable talking to the camera in French. That confidence carried into my weekly online French lessons too. Because I already practiced being heard, my lessons became less stressful and a lot of fun. Honestly, this practice didn't just help my French, it helped me feel braver speaking in general, whether in meetings, interviews, or daily conversations. And that brings me to the next point, which is permission. You have to give yourself permission to sound imperfect. Think about children. They make mistakes all the time, and that's why they learn so fast. They're not afraid of being wronged. Adults, on the other hand, want to sound perfect from day one. But that kills joy, and joy is what keeps us learning. So I gave myself a few small rules, like speak French at least once a day, even if it's just one sentence, and start a short conversation with a stranger every week. Even if I make mistakes, I count that as success. Because courage isn't built by waiting for confidence, it's built by showing up consistently. Every sentence, every attempt is progress. When I look back, that small cafe moment taught me a big truth. You don't wait for confidence before speaking. You speak first, and confidence follows. Every bonjour you mumble under your breath, every clumsy phrase, every awkward laugh, it all counts. Courage doesn't mean being fearless. It means choosing to speak even when your voice shakes. So if you're listening right now and you've ever felt that fear, remember this, you're not bad at languages. You are just not there yet. And yet is a powerful word. It means growth is still happening. It means courage is still possible. Because in the end, language isn't just about perfection. It's also about connection. If your words carry kindness and curiosity, you've already succeeded. Thank you for joining me for the very first episode of Rachelle mais en français. If this story resonates with you, you can also watch the related video on my YouTube channel. It's called The Fear of Speaking French and How I Overcame It. Next week, I'll be sharing something a bit more personal, like why I started this podcast and what language learning truly means to me. Until then, keep learning, keep connecting, and keep speaking even when your voice trembles a little.